Greetings, and welcome to Ealdormere at Home,
a web series dedicated to keeping the North folk connected.
I'm Nicola Canis, and I'm here with this lovely gentleman from Alberta. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Kyle Chalik. It's my mundane name. I'll start with greeting Danisi, Suniao Mahagan, Niti Sikoson, Avacal Uchinia. So what I expressed there was hello. Silver Wolf is my name, and I'm from Avacal. My name in the SCA is Edward Vikingsson. I'm squire to His Royal Highness Duke Vic Vikingsson.
My goodness.
And I'm the Silver Wolf, the champion of the sword in the Barony of Borealis.
So, we're here to talk about your kit, which is awesome. What piece do you want to start with first, telling us about this beautiful, absolutely beautiful kit?
We can start with the helmet.
All right.
The
most exciting part.
Yeah, everybody loves the helmet, right? So, here, I'll grab the helmet right here. So, okay. So I fought for a bunch of years with this same helmet, actually.
And I see you've got a wig over top of it to kind of disguise it.
So traditionally, the Nehea people, they didn't wear helmets or metal or anything other than leather. So I wanted it to look as much like a traditional warrior as possible. So I covered the top of the wig, and I painted the helmet first, a darker skin tone, and then I put the wig over top and braided the wig. It's a 40-inch wig, and then I added all the embellishments and whatnot, like the.
You've done a lovely job making it look natural.
And whatnot. And so traditionally the headband isn't a thing. It's more of a powwow dancers thing, but those embellishments are still traditional. They were more for dancing and whatnot, but in order to cover like the seam of the hair and the seams of where the metal comes together and is welded and stuff. And then I've decorated it with these are actually my lady's handprints on the side, the red handprints, which is it's for the support of the MMIW, which is a movement that brings awareness to the missing and murdered Indigenous women,
right,
of Canada and all over North America, which we thought would bring some controversy, but it actually didn't. It was
that's lovely to hear.
Yeah.
And
So
it's a beautiful piece to bring into the kit to start that conversation.
Yeah, well, traditionally face paint is a thing, but you have to, even today, you have to earn face paint. It's not just, you can't just wear face paint for no reason. You have to actually earn it.
The representation's really beautiful.
Yeah. So this also sits on top.
Oh my goodness, what's it made out of?
So this is a traditional roach. It's made out of porcupine hair, not the quills, but the actual hair, the guard hair. And then there's an outer layer of deer tail hair on the outside, and then there's also on the inside there's an outer layer of deer hair.
Wow.
Not everybody wore them, but this is a traditional headpiece for the Nehea people.
So let's talk about that chest piece of yours. You've got beautiful beading and a whole lot of different types of leather.
Yeah, so I don't have it with me, but because right now it's in a couple pieces. Originally, I made it's a bone tubular beaded breastplate, a traditional breastplate, and it has a pair of ermine skin hanging from it. And then I wear it over top of a all my armor's underneath an elk hide shirt. So the shirt's actually a half of an elk that I've made.
Wow.
And
that must be tough stuff.
It's pretty tough. It's heavy and it does not breathe well.
Oh no!
But it has no sleeves and whatnot, and yeah. So most of it was just you figure out where your shirt goes, and I've sewn it with sinew and whatnot, and then I cut the excess into fringe. What I made was, I actually have it right here. So this is what it is right here.
Oh wow!
And it's actually just 4 plates.
Oh, I didn't even realize they were big plates. I thought they were like a leather.
So they're big plates, and then I on the back, instead of sewing them between 2 pieces of leather, the outside part is a brain tan buckskin leather, and then on the inside, I actually just use like a micro suede. So the plastic plates are actually just in between these 2 pieces, but it's modeled after a traditional dancer's skirt. So I went with that because it can hide my thigh, like it can be my thigh armor. Excuse me, and it helps with like the knees, hiding the knees so that they don't look like big giant cops and whatnot, and then there's no actual armor attached to my thigh.
I love to hear about other people's kits, and yours is specifically special in such things. So I love hearing about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have seen that it can be special, mostly because it's really uncommon. When I first brought my lady to the SCA, she's First Nations, she's Treaty First Nations, and she really wanted to do a First Nations kit. And even myself, I fell into that category of, well, I don't know, like it's not common. It's not a thing that's really done a whole lot, it's very European-esque. And she was like, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. And I was like, okay, let's go for it. And
I love that. That is so good.
And I think it was Crown. Yeah, I think it was Crown, Avacal Crown in November of last year. Or no, the year prior, and she wore her full kit, and it's gorgeous. So I'm really glad she made big splashes and she stepped out of the norm, and from there, that's kind of what made me kind of want to do my kit and kind of switch over my personas or my persona and whatnot, because I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty afraid to do one, so I didn't know what people would think or anything like that. And
well, I'm glad you did it. I hope that it becomes more normal.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Why don't we talk about people who want to do this? How might you go about such things?
Since I've posted pictures of my kit, there's been 99% positive feedback, and there's definitely been a lot of people who have been like, yeah, I definitely want to do a First Nations kit for sure. So I would say that, like, if anybody wanted to switch their kit and make a new First Nations kit, I would say, depending on the tribe, look up the tribal traditional clothing and whatnot. Headdresses are different all over the place, especially headpieces. Even what you wore for clothes, given the abundance of specific animals to what they would normally wear. I know that there's some southern tribes that wore grass skirts instead of a lot of hide, because of the heat. Yeah, I would say go for it, and just do some of the research for a while. I went directly to I'm a tattoo artist by trade, so I went to the chief of the Samson Cree Nation, Chief Saddleback. I tattoo his son a lot, and so we kind of hooked up, and we hung out a bunch of times, and he took me to meet his dad, and from there I met his ex-wife, which was one of their cultural leaders, and some elders and stuff, and we went and specifically talk to them about traditional wear. Instead of, not every book is going to be completely and utterly accurate. No, there's a lot of books out there that are good, but most of the books are not written by First Nations people. So it can be tricky when you're getting a secondhand account of something. So I would say
Go to the
directly,
source.
go to the source, go straight to the source. It's a verbal, like everything is verbal. They don't write, like, it's not a written history, or they don't write things down. You know, they pass everything on orally. So if you're gonna get the best and most accurate information from those elders, and I would say take as much as you can from that and pay your protocol, and then make your stuff. So
Well, that's wonderful.
yeah,
Thank you so much for talking with us.
no problem.
And we're happy to have someone from out of Kingdom here and in talking with Ealdormere. And
No, it's my honor.
and of course, do you have anything else to say or add?
I'm not too sure. I would say that right now there's not, this isn't a common thing. So I would say that the more common it becomes, the less we look at it as an uncommon thing. So I would definitely encourage anybody who wants to do a First Nations kit to do it for sure. So yeah.
You heard it here. Make it common, guys. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
So, hello and welcome to Ealdormere at Home. I'm here with Master Gunther and Magistrate Nicola to talk about some more Kingdom offices. So, Master Gunther, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what your Kingdom office is?
Well, for me, it's for the salient points for this interview is that I am the Deputy Earl Marshal for Archery and the Deputy Earl Marshal for Thrown Weapons in the Kingdom of Ealdormere.
Well, both of you are both very active in the archery community and thrown weapons as well. So can you tell me a bit about your role as the Kingdom Archery Thrown Weapons Marshal?
Okay, well, as with most Kingdom offices, it's a fair amount of its administration, just keeping track of everybody's warrants, make sure everybody's up to date with their memberships, to liaise with society on any changes that are coming down regarding the martial disciplines, to liaise with the Kingdom Earl Marshal to make him aware of any changes that are happening and to report to him quarterly and during the Doomsday reports. And well, to a certain extent, being the cheerleader, try to keep everything working copacetically throughout the kingdom, and make sure that everybody's aware of any changes to any rules. Generally, a lot of administration, Doomsday reports, reporting, but also a lot of liaising and talking to people and helping out to solve any problems.
What is, so then you're the marshal that's in charge of kind of the other marshals throughout the kingdom, the archery and thrown weapons marshals throughout the kingdom. So what is the marshal's role at an event or in a group?
So like most marshals, marshal of activities in the SPA, a lot of it is safety, keeping an eye on what's going on at an event. Line marshals are there to keep eye on the line, make sure everybody's following the rules, to inspect equipment to make sure it's legal, to set up and take down the ranges before and after the events. And the marshal in charge would be in charge of making sure that everything at the event runs smoothly and that the minimum amount of paperwork needs to be filed.
Yeah, and marshals also spend a lot of time, if we have new people, getting them up to speed. Both thrown weapons and archery tend to have loaner equipment, so sometimes it's getting people kitted up so that they can have their first experience shooting or throwing. And it's probably a little bit, believe it or not, but despite the fact that the thrown weapons are a little bit more sharp, and it's actually a little easier weapons because they're right there with a bow. You've got get people used to holding it and pulling it and doing all those steps and being safe on the line, which actually applies to both of them. But there's a fair bit with the marshal. When you become a marshal, a lot of what you end up doing is helping people out when they're first starting out and giving advice on equipment and that kind of thing too.
So that would be more of the events marshal. The group marshals would generally be in charge of, well, reporting to the next, the baronial marshals and to the king during reporting periods, trying to find and maintain practice sites, which are very hard to do for, unfortunately, very hard to do for archery and thrown weapons because it's not exactly something that can be done, especially during the wintertime when you don't have outdoor sites and there's not a lot of indoor sites. And usually helping to set up, or a lot of times a group marshal will end up being the marshal in charge of the local event, but if not, helping out whoever is in charge to liaise with the rest of the event staff and to make sure everything goes off correctly at the event.
So you talked a little bit about loaner bows and thrown weapons that people could borrow to try it out, and marshals training people. With fencing and armored combat, people need to be authorized to try it at events. Do people need to be authorized to try archery or thrown weapons?
Of course, encourage them to try to do it. And again, well, I should actually preface by saying that you actually don't have to become authorized in thrown weapons or archery. No, so long as there's somebody actually there watching them the whole time. That's again a big part of what marshals do when they're instructing new people at events. Is they usually will have the marshal in charge, but you usually have other marshals there, field marshals out there who can sort of maybe do one-on-one with a lot of new people. As long as you're watching them carefully the whole time and making sure they follow the rules, they do not have to be authorized to pull a bow or throw an axe or throw a knife or anything like that.
And the marshal has the complete discretion if we see someone acting unsafe, first of all, to coach them. And if coaching doesn't work, we have the discretion, the marshal in charge at any event or at any practice has the discretion to tell someone to leave the range if they are being unsafe.
So are there age restrictions on thrown and archery?
I mean, so long as the caveat for that is anybody underage needs to have a parent or designated guardian there with them.
So I think that covers most things. But one of the things that I was meant to ask you about, and it was not in the list of questions I sent you, because you both were very active in the yeoman. So the yeoman of the wolf?
Yeah, we kind of started that.
Yeah. Could you tell us a bit about what that is? And
well, it's sort of a martial order that goes back almost to the earliest era of Ealdormere back in the founding fathers days. It sort of waxed and waned over the years, but it is a martial company for unofficial martial company. It has no rank or standing in the SCA. It's sort of an unofficial martial company in Ealdormere to promote the participation, use, pretty much anything involved in ranged weapons. So thrown weapons, siege weapons, archery, combat archery, atlatls, etc., etc. It's just a sort of a nice way to encourage people to expand their interests, to try out new things, to not only to come out and shoot, but to marshal, to become a marshal, to sponsor a tournament, to make a cool piece of kit, whether it's a bow or a piece of garb or a bracer or whatever. It was just a good way to sort of encourage everybody to get more involved and broaden their horizons when it came to martial combat, and it with like a pretty patch and some bling when you sort of a simple ranking system that the more you do, the more you rank up, because everybody loves achievements, right?
Yeah, and it's balanced so that even if you're not a brilliant, wonderful, I'm winning all the tournaments kind of archer, there's still all kinds of ways to earn points, and it's a point system. So the more active you are, even if you show up and I shot one arrow at an event, you'll get a point for that, because there's points just for that. And there's points for service, there's points for the arts related pieces. So the idea being is certainly you will rank up faster if you're awesome at tournaments and you win them and you get extra points, but there still is a way to do it if you're simply active and you're simply out doing stuff, hopefully encouraged to be a marshal. There's points to be gained if you make up a tournament, like say at an event, you want to run a particular kind of shoot, you make some targets and you use that and you get points for that. So pretty much anything you do. In fact, I think we gave some points to, I think up at Scrail, they had an indoor miniature siege engine competition. And I said, sure, let's do it. If people want points for that, well,
give points for that.
You don't get points for that. That's cool. It's a siege engine. It's very small, but it worked.
Generally speaking, if you make people in the yeoman smile, you probably regarding anything martial. And by the way, Master Daffod is currently in charge of the yeoman of the wolves. Yes, that is the great bane of our archery and throwing weapons existence, is finding stuff to do in the wintertime, other than like keeping your kit from falling apart and making new arrows.
Yeah, and there are sometimes some opportunities. Yeah, I see you're getting a visitor there. There are some opportunities sometimes in the winter under normal conditions. There are some people that do some winter archery shoots, sometimes outdoors ones. And I know we've done thrown weapons as late as Wassail in the past. So it's possible sometimes to sneak those extra things in. So
weather permitting.
Yeah, of course, weather permitting. Hopefully once we're having events again, just watch out for them and, come out and give it a try and have some fun.
Well, I know it's something that my children enjoyed doing growing up in the SCA, because it was something that was at most events, maybe not so much in the wintertime, but in the summertime, and that they could participate in and fully enjoy on their own when they got a bit older, and I didn't need to be quite so close to the range. So thank you. Thank you guys for all that you do with archery and thrown weapons in Kingdom, because you very much make sure that they happen. And all of the marshals are wonderful in making sure that these things happen at our events. So thank you guys for talking to me today about our archery and thrown weapons.
Good gentles of Ealdormere. My apologies to Miss Doris Day for stealing her song, and to all of you for my scratchy voice this morning. But this is a new filk that I wrote for Kingdom, and I hope it brings you a bit of joy this morning. When I was just a young wolf cub, I asked my herald, what shall I be? Will I fight armor or will I sing airs? Here's what she said to me. Hey, Wassail, Wassail, whatever you see may be, the kingdom is yours, you see. Hey, Wassail, Wassail. When I first met our king and queen, I asked my royals, what shall I be? Shall I be a pelican, a laurel, or knight? Here's what they said to me. Hey, Wassail, Wassail, whatever you see may be, the kingdom is yours, you see. Hey, Wassail, Wassail. When I received my AOA, I asked my mentor, what shall I be? Should I seek service or should I seek war? Here's what they said to me. Hey, Wassail, Wassail, whatever you see may be, the kingdom is yours, you see. Hey, Wassail, Wassail. When I brought in my first recruit, They ask sincerely, what shall I be? There's so much to do here and I'm so confused. Here's what they heard from me. Hey, Wassail, Wassail, whatever you see may be. The kingdom is yours, you see. Hey, Wassail, Wassail.
That's it for this episode.
If you'd like to appear as a guest or have a story for Ealdormere at Home, please check out our submission guidelines.
Until next time,
Stay safe, Ealdormere.
we'll see you at home.